Good morning, everybody. In last class, we discussed a few of the electrical motor fundamentals. We saw what is the principle of operation of a direct current motor. We saw two types of motors, that is brushed type DC motor and brushless type DC motor, and how the torque is developed in such motors, and what are the advantages and limitations of both brushed motors and brushless DC motors. Today we'll see some of the speed control aspects of DC motors, and as you know, these motors will be used as drive elements or actuator elements in various mechatronic devices. So particularly three types of or three modes of speed control will be just studying for that matter. If you just look at the three diagrams, diagram A, diagram B, and diagram C. All the three diagrams otherwise appear to be same, but if you observe closely, what you can see is these two are your signal conditioning. These four are your signal conditioning elements, and this is your controller element, and this is the actuator element as such. If you can see in the first figure, the feedback of the speed that is taken from a DC motor, it is analog in nature, and the signal that is used to control the motor is also analog signal in the first case. The second case, the speed that is sensed, the signal, the sensor transducer used is digital in nature. If encoder is used, it generates digital signal. So the feedback signal is digital signal, and the control signal or the actuating signal is analog signal, right? This is the second type. In the third type, you have the feedback signal, that is a sense transduced signal, is digital in nature once again, and the actuating signal is of pulsed nature. The actuating signal is given in the form of pulses. So this is the differentiating factor between these three modes of speed control. If you just see the first case, that is analog feedback and analog actuating signal. If you just look at it, you have a motor, DC motor, whose speed is to be controlled, right? So what we do, we use one sensor transducer which senses the speed of the motor, whose speed is to be controlled. Okay, so what is done? They use one sensor transducer. In this case, the speed sensor is a tacho generator. Now, what is the functioning? We already studied this in our sensor transducers. Tacho generator receives the speed signal, right? And it converts it into some analog voltage output. It's a generator. So the voltage that is generated by the tacho generator is proportional to the speed of the DC motor, which is to be controlled. Now, this analog signal is conditioned by using analog to digital converter, and this digital signal is given to my microprocessor. My microprocessor is a controller in this case. Here I have the set value of the speed. For example, let us say I want the speed of the DC motor to be 3000 RPM. So appropriate digitally equivalent signal or the set input is provided corresponding to 3000 RPM. Now, what is the actual speed? Maybe 2500. So the tacho generator will generate, just as an example, the tacho generator generates a signal, a voltage output signal to the tune of, let us say, 25 volt DC through a tacho generator. And that analog signal is converted into digital signal, equivalent digital signal, and it will be compared at the microprocessor stage with the set value. The set value is 3000 RPM and actual value is 2500 RPM. So the microprocessor compares these two signals, and whatever is the error equivalent to 500 RPM the microprocessor will generate the digitally equivalent signal corresponding to error of plus 500 RPM. That is, the speed of the DC motor is to be increased from 2500 RPM to 3000 RPM. That equivalent signal, digital signal, will be generated by the microprocessor. Now, this digitally equivalent signal will not be able to run the motor directly because the DC motor runs on analog voltage, right? We have already seen. So this output given by the microprocessor controller, which is the digital signal, will be converted into equivalent analog signal by using D2A converter. We have seen in the previous classes, we have seen different types of A to D converters and different types of D2A converters. Now that equivalent analog signal, that is the correcting signal, will be amplified and it will be given to the DC motor. The DC motor can either be, as discussed in the last class, either it can be armature controlled DC motor, wherein we control the armature voltage to control the speed, or it can be field controlled DC motor, wherein the field voltage is varied so that the speed can be increased or decreased. So that way, this amplified analog signal will be given to the motor, either to the armature or to the field circuit, so that the speed of the motor increases. With increase in voltage, either the field voltage or the armature voltage, the speed of the motor will be increasing. Now that increasing speed once again will be sensed by my sensor transducer, that is tachogenerator, and it will start giving the appropriate signal. Earlier the speed was 2500, now it has become 2600. Continuously it will start receiving the signal and it will be comparing it with the set value of this RPM. And this cycle will continue till my motor RPM becomes equal to the set RPM. Hello? 2 minutes urgent hai? Lecture chalu hai. So this cycle will continue till the actual RPM of the motor becomes equal to the set RPM of the motor, right? So this is how the speed control of the DC motors is done. This is the block diagram for the speed control of DC motors. Now, similarly, the discussion remains the same for remaining two configurations also. Only difference, as I told you in the beginning, is that the sensed or transduced, sense and transduced signal in the first case is analog, in the second case it is digital, and in both the cases the actuating signal for the motor is analog voltage, right? Whereas in the third case, the sensed signal, the feedback signal of the speed will be digital in nature, and the actuating signal will be in the form of pulses. So this is the differentiating factor. Otherwise, the functioning is same. Only thing is that in all the three cases, the controller uses microprocessor, and converter in the third case is pulse width modulation circuit, which we already studied, right? Pulse width modulation circuit, right? And that modified pulse will be given to the motor so that the speed of the motor will be either increased or decreased. So this is how the DC motor speed control is obtained. Let us see the second category of the motor, that is AC motors or alternating current motors. Now, both the motors have their relative advantages and limitations depending on the availability of DC power or AC power and my application specifications. I can select either direct current motor or alternating current motors for my application. In AC, motors are further classified into two groups, that is single phase motor and multi-phase, polyphase motors. Single phase motor or polyphase motor. Now here we know single phase and three phase motor, isn't it? These can be further subdivided into either induction motors or synchronous motors. Both of these will be studied. Single phase motors tend to be used for low power requirements. आपल्या घरातले पंप आहे, छोटा पंप आहे, आपण पाण्यासाठी वापरतो. That is usually single phase motor and power requirement is less. maybe 1/4 HP, half HP, 3/4 HP, 1 HP. Power requirement is less. There single phase motors are preferred, whereas polyphase motors are used for higher powers. जसे agricultural pumps आहेत, की आपल्याला खूप लिटर्स मध्ये पाणी पाहिजे आणि खूप वेळासाठी the service requirements are continuously for 8 hours, let us say. तसा there I should not go in for single phase motors. I should go in for 3 phase motors. Induction motors are cheaper than the synchronous motors and are thus very widely used. आपण बघितलं agricultural pumps or industrial pumps, mostly those are induction motors because of the cost and energy consumption, less cost and less energy consumption. The single phase squirrel cage induction motor consists of a squirrel cage rotor, this being copper or aluminum bars that fit into the slots in end rings to form complete electrical circuit. We'll see the construction later on. There are no external electrical connections to the rotor of the induction motor, right? The basic motor consists of this rotor with a stator having a set of windings. When an alternating current passes through the stator winding, the alternating magnetic field is produced as a result of electromagnetic induction. EMFs are induced in the conductors of the rotor, and the currents flow in the rotor. The induction motor is not self-starting. An auxiliary starting winding is used to give the rotor an initial push. The rotor rotates at a speed determined by the frequency of the alternating current applied to the state. We will see at the time of construction, while at the time of understanding the construction of induction motors. First of all, let us see what is the principle of operation of any alternating current motor. As you can see, two diagrams are there. We have stator with the winding, right? And we have a rotor, right? With two poles, magnetic poles. What difference we can observe here? Two stages. Alternating current changes the signs, isn't it? Here, the first case, as you can see, positive here and negative here, right? Now, in the second case, in the second cycle, second half of the cycle, the sign is changed, right? So, by doing this, the sign changes of the alternating currents of the cycle, first half cycle and second half cycle, sign changes. I develop a rotating magnetic field, and this is how the alternating current motors work. Consider a rotor to be a permanent magnet. A rotor to be a permanent magnet. Current flowing through the conductors. Conductors kutle hai. Current flowing through conductors energize the magnets because these are the electromagnets and develops north and south poles. After electromagnetization, they develop north pole and south poles. The strength of the electromagnetic magnets depends on the current that we supply. The first half cycle, in the first half cycle, current flows in one direction, right? Positive, and in the second half cycle, the current flows in opposite direction, right? Asha direction. Here it was like this. Here it is like this, right? In the opposite direction, generating torque on the coil as AC voltage changes the poles alternately. Baga, south pole becomes north pole in the second half cycle, and north pole becomes south pole in the second half cycle. And this is how the field generates the rotational torque and the motor starts rotating. So this is the basic principle of AC motors. Induction motor, just now we saw the description. We'll discuss the construction of the induction motors briefly. As we discussed in that first slide, we have this rotor of an induction motor. I have the three-phase or single-phase field winding with the coils. With her, I generate the rotating magnetic field, whereas the rotor has the conductors connected like this. You have separate conductors, right? Right. This is one conductor, second conductor, third conductor. Like this, I have number of conductors on the rotor, and these are short circuited. The ends by using end rings connecting the ends of all the conductors to give the circuits in which currents are induced and नंतर induce होतात. हे conductors प्रत्येक असे आहेत तुमच्या rotor मध्ये, आणि with the end plate those are short circuited, so to say, right? Those are connected. पण त्या रोल काय त्याचा, त्या conducting wire चा रोल काय? See here, end view of the squirrel cage. आता हे squirrel म्हणजे काय? खारुताई. स्क्विरल केज का म्हणायचं त्याला, जसे पट्टे दिसतात on the squirrel, it appears like a squirrel cage, right? तशी जाळीदार असं appearance आहे म्हणून त्याला squirrel cage म्हणायचं, right? Because of the appearance. So we have a rotor, we have the stator windings, right? The stator winding is energized by giving the supply voltage, right? So supply voltage दिल्यानंतर काय होईल? I am developing a rotating magnetic field, right? हे rotating magnetic field सुरू झाल्यानंतर काय होतं? What happens? ह्या कंडक्टर्स मध्ये माझ्याकडे moving magnetic field, the conductor is this conductor is coming. इथं माझं magnetic field आहे. Each of the conductors is cutting the magnetic field, so to say. मग काय होईल? When it cuts the magnetic field, त्याच्यामध्ये EMF generate होतो in each of the conductors. The EMF is set up because of the rotating magnetic field set up by the stator, and the current starts flowing through each of the conductors, right? आणि त्यामुळे काय होतं? It develops a back EMF, एक rotating torque develop होतो, and the motor starts rotating, which we already seen. आता सुरुवातीच्या स्टेज मध्ये बघितलं. Then the alternating current passes through the stator winding, then alternating magnetic field is produced. As a result of alternating of electromagnetic induction, EMFs are induced in the conductors of the rotor and current flows in the rotor. The induction motor is not self-starting. आपल्याला वेगळा starter लागतो. An alternating auxiliary starting winding is used to give the rotor an initial push, right? So this is the working principle of induction motor. The speed of rotation of the magnetic field is termed as the synchronous speed. The rotor will never quite match this frequency of rotation, typically differing from it by about 1 to 3%, right? म्हणजे rotating magnetic field चा speed समजा 3000 RPM आहे. Magnetic field चा speed. That does not mean that the rotating magnetic field is set up by the stator. Magnetic field आणि rotor काय होतो? त्या rotating magnetic field मुळे the rotor is dragged and the rotor starts rotating. But what this statement says, rotating magnetic field चा speed इतका rotor चा speed नसतो. It is 1 to 3% less. मग ह्या केस मध्ये काय? The rotating magnetic field is rotating at, let us say, 1000 RPM. Ideally, the rotor should rotate at 1000 RPM. But what happens? 3% less. म्हणजे काय? 300 RPM less. 1000 RPM मध्ये 30 RPM less. 970 RPM नी माझा rotor फिरणार. This 3% will be the slip, and this is called as the slip of the induction motor. Experienced by the slip means a lag, right? The magnetic field is rotating at 1000 RPM, whereas the rotor is rotating at 970 RPM. A lag of 30 RPM, right? So this is the rotor will never quite match the frequency of rotation, typically differing from it by about 1 to 3%. This difference is termed as slip. These can be single phase. Induction motors can be single phase or 3-phase. Now, the second variety of AC motors is synchronous speed. Let us see what is the chat. Okay, let us discuss later on. Go to offline class. The synchronous motor. Now, the synchronous motors have the stators similar to induction motors. Stator same आहे. Rotor काय होता induction motor मध्ये? Short circuited किंवा squirrel cage rotors. फक्त conductors होते. Whereas in synchronous motors, they have the stator similar to induction motor, but a rotor which is a permanent magnet. A rotor जो आहे, it will have permanent magnet. Induction motor मध्ये काय होता? Conductors होते, right? इथे synchronous motor मध्ये these are permanent magnets. Rotors are having permanent magnets, and the stator will have windings, right? तिथे पण induction motor मध्ये पण stator has the winding. The magnetic field produced by the stator, rotates the magnet with it, right? With one pair of poles per phase of the supply, right? This is called as one pair of poles. This is second pair of poles, third pair of poles, fourth pair of poles, right? With one pair of poles per phase of the supply, the magnetic field rotates through 360 degrees in one cycle of the supply. And so the frequency of rotation with this arrangement is the same as the frequency of the supply. Synchronous motors are used when a precise speed is required. मला precise speed requirement नसेल, तर I can go in for induction motors. But if I want precise speed control, then I should go in for synchronous motors. They are not self-starting. The same auxiliary starting system is employed to start them, right? Like induction motors. The synchronous speed of an AC motor is determined by the following formula. NS is synchronous speed in RPM is 120 into F by P. F is supply frequency or applied frequency, and P is number of pole pairs. Right? The synchronous speed, suppose 2 pole pairs असतील and frequency 50 असेल, तर काय होईल? 50 upon 2, that is 20 into 12, 25 into 12. 50 hertz is the supply voltage frequency and number of poles is 2, so 25 by 2 into 120, that is 60 into 25. किती होणार आहे? 25 सका 150. Right? So 1500 RPM is the synchronous speed. Likewise, depending on number of pole pairs and the frequency of supply voltage, I can find out what is the synchronous speed of an AC motor. What are the advantages and limitations of induction motors? It has a simple design, low initial cost, rugged in construction, and that's why for rough uses, for agricultural uses, AC induction motors are preferred. Rugged in construction, almost unbreakable. The operation is simple with less maintenance as there are no brushes involved. The efficiency of these motors is very high as there are no frictional losses with reasonably good power factor. The control gear for the starting purpose of these motors is minimum, and the simple and reliable operation is obtained by using induction motor. Of course, there are some limitations of AC induction motors as well. The speed control of these motors is at the expense of its efficiency. The speed control करायला गेले तर त्याची efficiency कमी होणार. As the load on the motor increases, म्हणजेच काय load म्हणजे काय? Torque on the motor. Load torque on the motor increases, speed decreases. The starting torque is inferior when compared to DC motors. So this is a major limitation. त्यामुळं जिथं मला immediate किंवा higher starting torque पाहिजे, immediately सुरू केल्या केल्या लगेच मला एखादी मोशन पाहिजे असेल, higher starting torque पाहिजे असेल, तर I should go in for DC motor instead of AC induction motor. If my starting torque requirements are higher, I should prefer DC motor. If my running torque requirements or load torque requirements are higher, I can go in for induction motors or synchronous motor. We'll stop for today, friends.